Hi, Elaine. Could you
Hi,
introduce
Christiaan.
yourself and tell
Absolutely.
us how you got to this point in life?
Absolutely. So my name's Elaine Haynes. I'm president and CEO of a biotech startup called KaloCyte, which means beautiful cell. We're on a mission to develop an artificial red blood cell substitute for use when blood is not available. I've been with KaloCyte for coming up on 6 years now, since I was working with the company when I was in EIR at an accelerator in St. Louis, where the company was founded based on technology coming out of WashU. Prior to that, I spent most of my career at Mallinckrodt Pharmaceuticals, leading the global medical imaging business until we decided that strategically that was no longer a fit. So I took the opportunity to go find something more interesting to be involved with, specifically looking for something that was going to have a big impact on patients. So when I was reviewing the grant application for KaloCyte as an EIR and saw this amazing technology of taking a lipid nanoparticle and making it act like a red blood cell, I was hooked, and I've been here ever since. So KaloCyte is now based in Baltimore, Maryland. So we moved here about 5 years ago to have better access to talent, to our collaborators, and work in an environment that was more aligned with our product focus and military interest. We have raised to date, we've raised $5.5 million in investor funding, and are going out for our Series A now. But the reason I'm here on this panel is I'm passionate about non-dilutive funding. KaloCyte just had a recent award that put us at 17 million in non-dilutive funding. That's from a combination of NIH funding through NHLBI, Department of Defense, and DARPA. So we have quite a bit of non-dilutive funding supporting our work. And the benefits of having non-dilutive funding go beyond just the obvious funding. You get additional credibility with your investors because they know that your science has been reviewed by experts. So you have some additional credibility there. I think it's important though to keep your work, keep the grants aligned with your strategy. Just don't go for grant's sake, but make sure that it's aligned with the work that you really need to do to get the product to market.
So, Elaine, I want to dive more into this, but hey, one of our goals is to highlight our member companies, and Elaine has expertise in this space. And not only is her technology super promising, but she took, did you say 17 million in non-dilutive funding? And over how many years did that come in?
The first grant came in 2017, so 7 years.
Okay. And have you personally, as a CEO, been leading that kind of application process, or how are you approaching that with limited resources? I'm sure you're dedicating a lot to that. Tell me
Yes.
how you.
Yeah, so grants are a lot of work, both to apply for, get, and then manage once they land. Initially, we were doing it in conjunction with our accelerator, Biogenerator. That's how I first got involved, writing the business plans. Since then, we leverage our prior work. And then tailor it to the upcoming grant proposal. But particularly for some of the larger grants, such as DARPA and our Phase 2B and our most recent DoD grant, we have leveraged an expert to help us with doing some of the writing based on our existing work coordinating with our scientists and kind of project managing the process to make sure that all of the bits and pieces and application components are compliant and professional and get it and entered into the system in the right way.
Well, I'm going to keep going with this because I think a lot of CEOs are saying, how do I really do this? I want to go get non-dilutive funding. I have 99 other things I want to do. And so you've brought in a contractor that you trust, you're on the same page. Is that initial experience, I've actually done that too. How painful is that, kind of bringing somebody on to understand your company? Is that, and then once you've done that, is it repeatable? And how many grant applications do you need to, apply for before you get one? So I know that's 3 questions, but talk a little bit more about
several good questions. So tell me as I answer if I miss any of them. But initially, it is painful, which is why I didn't do it initially, because I'm kind of a DIYer, and it's just sometimes more trouble to have someone else educated and brought up to speed. But then it pays forward. So once you go through that process and get a team up to speed on your product, they have all of that material then to build on for future grants. So it gets progressively easier as you go. It's still a lot of work, but it's definitely pays it forward. So I think that was one question. What were the other 2, Christiaan?
So you've now got the person in place, and you feel comfortable that they can write a good application for you. How many applications do you need to do before you start to get some traction, and talk about that process?
Yeah, so I don't think there are any of our grants that we got on the first application. So almost all of them have that where we've been successful, we've had to resubmit and respond to reviewer observations and questions. So that's a whole art in and of itself on the resubmission, to keep what they liked and make sure that you address any deficiencies. And then there's been a lot that we have submitted and not been successful getting with one agency, but then another opportunity comes up, either at a different time or a different award mechanism, where we look at, oh, hey, that one that we submitted here 2 years ago and didn't get, we're actually better positioned now and need that funding and support for this work, and it could be a good fit for this new application that just came up. So we do repurpose things as you go, but yeah, it takes a lot of attempts to be successful.
Well, Elaine, congratulations. I am personally envious, and I'm sure several of our other members are envious of what you've been able to achieve. And thank you for being a member and for making yourself available on this forum. And I really appreciate you. And again, congratulations.